Hi everybody, David Paul with you in the KHOU 11 Weather Center. This is your Monday evening update on the tropics, and of course that is Hurricane Beryl, powerful Cat 4 hurricane moving through the eastern Caribbean now, continuing on its west-northwest track. There is another spot that we're keeping an eye on, but this wave down to a 50% chance for development from a 70% chance yesterday as it tries to follow in Beryl's footsteps. We'll keep an eye on that one. But Beryl is the big story right now. Tremendously powerful storm. Winds now up, sustained at 155 miles an hour. So anything at or above 157 miles an hour would make it a Cat 5. So it's knocking on the door of becoming a Cat 5 hurricane. When you see a storm that's that perfectly symmetrical, that's the central dense overcast, that gray. And then you see the clear center of the storm. Perfectly symmetrical eye, another indication that the storm is just perfectly organized. It's moving west-northwest at 21. That's a very fast speed for a storm that strong. So when we take a closer look at this, and we're looking down from outer space, and it's just as perfect as the situation is for rapid development and strong development of a hurricane. But what you're seeing when you're looking down at a storm that looks that symmetrical is a storm that is in an unsheared environment. There's no wind shear. There's nothing blowing against it or tilting it over. It's perfectly stacked, perfectly vertically stacked through the vertical column of the atmosphere. That's what it takes to get a hurricane to become that strong. An unsheared environment where the storm is just standing perfectly straight up and down. When you get wind shear, those are winds at the mid and upper levels, that can begin to tilt the storm, and that disrupts the circulation, and that can and will weaken the storm if it gets into a sheared environment. And the reason I point that out is because right now it's unsheared. That's allowed it to become strong Cat 4 nearing Cat 5. But once it encounters some wind shear, and that is the forecast, there is wind shear right here. See this blue and green streak in here over the island of Hispaniola? That is wind shear that this hurricane is going to be moving into over the next couple of days. Right now it's in an unsheared area, so it's been able to stack up and become so powerful. But once it encounters that wind shear and begins to tilt over a little bit, that is forecast to weaken the storm. And that's why when you look at the forecast track from the Hurricane Center and the intensity forecast, it weakens from Cat 4 now down to Cat 3 by Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning. Down to Cat 2, passing maybe just south of Jamaica by Wednesday afternoon. That's the storm encountering that wind shear, and instead of being perfectly stacked and strong, it tilts, and that disrupts the circulation and weakens it. In fact, enough wind shear forecast to knock it down to a Cat 1 by Thursday afternoon before making landfall, most likely perhaps near Tulum, south of Cancun on the Yucatan Peninsula. And then that landmass will further weaken it, and so it emerges as a 65-mile-an-hour tropical storm in the southern Gulf on Saturday afternoon. Now for Houston, Galveston, if this track verifies and this intensity forecast verifies, this would have minimal impacts on the middle and upper Texas coast. Now we would see increased surf. We would see a chance for beach erosion. We may see some lowland flooding near the coast, some coastal flooding of low roads near the water, like we saw with Alberto. And we could see scattered showers, a couple of bands of scattered showers as well going into Monday, Tuesday of next week. But that would be about it. If that forecast track verifies, clearly it's something we're watching for any changes, and that's really one of the big things that everybody needs to be doing right now. Everybody on the Texas coast, monitor the forecast at least once a day. I suggest once in the morning and once in the evening. Just turn on Channel 11, watch the weather, and get the updates so nobody gets caught off guard. And whether or not this storm ends up impacting us or the next one, clearly we are in a season where it's forecast to be unusually busy, and we're seeing that playing out right now. So if you're on the coast, know your evacuation plan. You need to know that at the beginning of the season regardless. And then staying inland, hiding from the wind, not evacuating, have a 5-day supply of food, water, and medicine on hand so that you don't have to get out in the panic if another storm or this one decides to come our way, and you can stay safe at home before, during, and after the storm until things have several days to calm down and we get things going back as they should. That's where we stand right now. We'll continue to keep you posted as we move through this busy week of watching the tropics.